So Mike, you said, because I saw the video too, Pat played it the other day about, you said, still voting for him. It's still on the table. We saw Adam mentioned, what was the break? What was that moment, Mike? Was it the way that the administration treated the Palestine, Gaza, the terror, the hostages? Because Mike, real talk, let's be honest. If Trump was, first of all, none of that shit was happening at all when Trump was in. Everybody just, this motherfucker was shaking people's arms and was ripping them off the socket. I think two things. A, it wouldn't have happened if it was under him. And number two, Mike, let's be real.
About that,
nobody did it in those 4 years.
Yeah.
Here's my thing, though. If it did happen under Trump and there was hostages, you don't think that guy would have gone in the next day, special forces, and just shot and killed Trump would not play this shit. Was it this thing, Mike, that made you go?
Israel pushed me over the top.
What was it, Mike? Like, please get into it.
The good cop, bad cop shit between Kamala and Joe Biden. Joe at first, what he said, it was good at first what he said, but I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was good.
Neither does he.
And it resonated with Israelis, but the good cop, bad cop between him and Kamala regarding this was not cool, and it's offensive, that they are doing that. As speaking that way when such a horrible, unacceptable situation took place in Israel, and that's when I first said that. I don't know what the date was. I believe it was sometime in October when I first said that, and since then I was like, I can't do it. I cannot vote for them. The border stuff. It shouldn't be harder for me to fly back into the United States from Toronto 2-3 hours, and I'm famous. I played a DEA agent on a show called Prison Break. DEA agent, border agent, they know me. It shouldn't take me, big star that I am, PBD, to get from Toronto flying to New York. It shouldn't take me 3 hours to fly back on that trip and take you 5 minutes across the border. It shouldn't be harder for me to get back into my country from Toronto than it is to cross the border. And it is. And it ain't cool. And then, the thing that pushed me over the top this week, listen, I live in New York. I want to be clear on this.
That's a crazy point.
Mike, that's amazing.
You like that?
That's a crazy
Clip
point.
that and put that on the internet. Boom.
I am Rapaport.
But Pat, I'm going to just say this. The media also does this. It portrays New York as this fucking... There's not as much homeless that I see. I'm not Mr. Patrol. I'm not in the 5 boroughs scouring. There's not as much homeless, specifically in Manhattan. I don't know the crime statistics. It's still New York. It's still the greatest city on the planet, in my opinion. It's still everything. That being said, when I saw the cops in Times Square, one of the epicenters of New York, one of the epicenters of all things American in the world. You think of the United States, that's one of the places. They dropped the ball. Dick Clark, the late great Dick Clark, you dropped the ball in Times Square. When NYPD's finest could get jumped by migrants.
Illegal migrants
in my city. I'm not the owner, but I'm born and raised in Manhattan. When NYPD can get jumped by illegal migrants in New York City and then walk out with no bail, raising their middle fingers like Tupac did when he came out of the court.
Unbelievable.
Fuck you, fuck that, fuck this. In New York City, and I know that's a city thing. I know it's nothing to do with the president, but that's when I go, is New York still the greatest city in the world if you can do that? Because that is a slap in the face to everything that is great, special about New York, and that is a slap in the face that is everything that's great, special about the United States of America.
Yep.
And that's when I said the other day, this is just, I can't.
And homie's wearing a freaking Kobe jersey, a 24 Lakers
and that's
shirt.
New York. And that's when I'm like, this is where I know the best. I know New York City better than any other place that I've spent a lot of time in California. That is my city. That's just the most blatant, disrespectful shit that you could do. That you can do this in New York City. You could beat. Let me tell you something. to think that you could put your hands on a cop in any city, let alone in a city that you ain't from, in a country that you ain't from. When I haven't traveled the world a lot, but when I'm in Israel, Argentina, the places that I've been to, I find out the rules and regulations, and I'm a disruptive personality. If you can't spit, you don't spit. When you're in Thailand, you can't say certain things. It'll get in trouble. Let alone put your hands on a cop. The audacity to jump on a fucking New York City cop and walk out with no bail. That shit's embarrassing.
And Mike, these are the we talked about this.
Clip
Mike.
that too.
Yeah, these are the same.
Imagine traveling to a different country and beating up a cop anywhere else.
No, but we're ready for this.
I mean,
Much less even in your own country.
Brittany Griner did a year and a half in jail.
We're bringing some weed to Russia.
It wasn't even. It was in a vape thing. But Mike,
And you could do this and you walk out with no bail.
Flipping double birdie.
Besides the flipping off,
right, man.
hold on, getting stomped out. Mike, this is what pissed me off. Other New Yorkers didn't do shit. Number three. This is the same NYPD that were heroes that were running into the World Trade. I did this, Mike, last week. Running into the World Trade, saving people, and nobody's helping these dudes. And then you know what that means? The system. They went into court, and they're like, bye, get out, and we go back in the street.
That really hurt my heart. As I'm born in New York hospital. That hurt my fucking heart.
So here's a question for you.
Sorry to curse.
No, it's all good. So do you speak to...
I know you keep it clean over here, Pete.
Before we get into it, so last time on Tuesday, we announced anybody that buys the Future Looks Bright hats and the gear, and we said we want 1 million people wearing this gear during these strange times. We want people walking around saying, hey, I believe future looks bright, and getting the reaction from other people when you wear that shirt. We have some stuff that we haven't given away. We're continuing this. We sold out of a couple of our hats, by the way, on Tuesday. Instantly, 3 hats sold out. But anybody that buys any of these gears, Rob, can we show this on the camera so people can see it? Pick any one of these hats and one of the Future Looks Bright shirts. Okay, go a little lower. You got the purple one. You got the white one. Pick any of these trucker hats for some of you guys that want the Valuetainment logo with U.S. flag next to it. We also got the PBD podcast hat there as well. You pick the black or white Future Looks Bright hat. Choose any of these combination hat and a shirt. You do. Next week, what we're doing is we'll be giving away one of the Ryan Garcia signed gloves, a Trevor Bauer signed ball, and 5 signed Choose Your Enemies Wisely live next Tuesday at the end of the podcast for Home Team.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.